you've had a lovely and creative week, and welcome back. Today we're going to continue with shadows, but first of all I have to say a huge thank you to the loveliest lady that introduced herself to me on my channel. She was shown or sent my video from last week, made me feel very welcome and said some lovely things about my videos, and I just wanted to give her a shout out. Yeah, just a lovely thank you to Diane, because actually a lot of people that have come over to watch my channel have been recommended by Diane, and that's just the loveliest thing. So I have watched some of her videos as well, of which there are many, and I would definitely recommend you go and have a look at her channel and subscribe if you haven't. So thank you. What a lovely way to start today's lesson. We're going to continue with shadows, and let's get right into it.
I'm going to repaint this little study that I did because it was an interesting shadow on the pot, as you can see, and I've already saved time by drawing the pot up and starting the planting. I'm a very neat painter naturally, and because of my career in art, but if you find that you're a very, very tight or neat painter, forcing yourself to paint quickly is one of the best ways to loosen up, because you don't give your brain time to get that control. So that's actually what I'm going to do here, because I got caught up in the happiness, and I forgot this is a shadow lesson, not a lavender in a pot lesson. Okay, I need instant vocal feedback from you guys going, come on, get to the shadows. But yeah, speed yourself up, force yourself to go really quickly. And I'll tell you something, if you can't, if you find you are just like, you know, really neat, actually force yourself to use your opposite hand, and you will get some really weird marks. But what it does, and your brain, your self-talk, you'll freak out, but your brain will actually give up and go, whoa, what are you doing? I can't control this. This isn't my dominant hand. But I do it that often now, my hand's actually getting pretty good. Disjointed dots actually help to loosen things up. See, as soon as I do that, little dots, they don't connect to the plant, but your brain makes them go, oh yeah, they're part of it, but it just loosens everything up. Now I'm going to make the shadow colour, which I'm going to base in black and add in the purple. So it's going to be quite dark to begin with. And then I'm going to add in the burnt sienna to that mix, because I don't want it to be just a more neutral grey. So burnt sienna, the purple, which we already know is a shortcut because it's ultramarine blue and magenta mixed, and then a tiny bit of just my black. I have to add that burnt sienna to there, and then I'm going to dip my brush in so it's pretty wet, it's pretty moist. I don't want to go along the very top because that's where the sun's hitting the pot. It's an old sort of very rustic looking pot, so I definitely don't want really neat lines here. I don't mind if my line is really quite uneven. And I'm going to colour in that shape where I had that shadow. Sorry, this is where my jittery hand is going to cause me a bit of grief. That's okay. Sometimes it's bad, sometimes it's not so bad. I'm all good though, it's all good. It's another reason why I actually started doing these lessons, because I thought, wow, what if I can't paint forever? What if I physically can't paint forever? And yeah, it gave me a bit of a wake-up call that, you know, it's important to share what you can while you can. That and a few other reasons made me want to do this now, and I'm very appreciative of everyone watching and commenting. It's very lovely to get feedback, because I'm obviously here on my own doing this, and you know, to a degree I'm pretty clueless about it, about the video part of it. But yeah, getting your positive feedback saying it's helping, you know, I'm explaining well, it makes me feel really positive and good, and to obviously continue doing more. So as I come around the side here, there's a few things that are going to happen. One, I'm going to change the colour. I'm going to dip straight into my ultramarine blue, because remember, blue means shade and coolness. So if I can do that on the shady side, it really makes it seem cool. Actually, that's all pot there. And then they can meet up. And I'm really not worrying about some lines being sharp, some being soft. It's just all part of the joy of adding the colour on. See, that's probably too much ultramarine blue there, so I'll just go back to my black, my ultramarine, oh no, purple, sorry. And I'll put a bit more dull colour in. Now I'm going to put these little shapes of the pot in too while it's still wet. If something's too hard edged, just remember, wet your brush, wipe it off a little bit, and add that back in. And I'll make this a bit heavier. I'm going over areas now. The good thing about doing wet on dry is once you put the paint down, it very rarely will bleed outside. So you've kind of given yourself like a border from one country to another, and they just don't intersect. It's really comes in very handy. Now what I'm going to do here as well is add a tiny bit of this, I call it like a nice cadmium deep orange, really little bit, so I'm adding water, too much even. But what it does is it gives a little bit of sunshine on the really sunny side of the shadow. I might even do a bit of yellow ochre actually. And I'm doing it out of the edge a bit. Not worrying about it being too bright, just a little dab. And perhaps even on the side of the pot, just a little tiny light. I hope you can even see that. And so that yellow ochre, which I'll put here, it's like not too pretty, not too yellow and lemony. So what that means is it gives us a subtle hint of sunshine colour without it being too lolly, because at the moment the hero of this colour-wise is the purple. We don't want to compete with that by having yellow, lolly yellow here. Look, I'm going to let that dry, but it's not as dark as what I want, so it's a good time to show you how to alter that and darken a shadow. What that does, because it's so blurry, because I use the wet on wet technique, your brain will assume that it's further back and it's out of focus, which is what I want. I get a clean brush now and I'm wiping over the areas where I want to add that little bit more detail, but I'm actually wetting beyond where I'm going to put the paint. And remember here, you need to be quite subtle with your pressure, because you don't want to actually reactivate the paint that's already sitting into the paper. So I'm going back to my old recipe, a little bit of black, a little bit of burnt sienna, And I'm going to add ultramarine blue because I want it to be more shadowy, more cool. And I'm just going to put a line down the center where I've put the water. Across here. Then I'm going to clean my brush and I'm just softening up those edges with the water from my clean brush. I want it to be a little bit uneven, I guess, because of the age of the pot, the weathered effect.
So that's it for this week. I actually have so much more to tell you about shadows, but I'm trying to keep these videos short so I can actually keep doing them once a week as well. So I hope you've enjoyed that, and let's be creative. Have a lovely week. Can't wait to see you next week. Bye.